All right, if you can tell by the mini-map down in the bottom right where this plane is starting, too late. I didn't get to finish my sentence. I was going to say I'll give you $5, but it is starting by Zarky.
I knew it.
Yeah, it's because we can see it. Heading from Zarky, heading down towards Sosnovka Island. So finally, a western shifted plane bath. We haven't seen too many of them on Erangel yet.
Yeah, not too much, as we have seen a circle on the Sosnovka Island, but bounced back north yesterday. So it was a big bet for OGN, but all the teams that made it into the island they had to swim over or use the bridge or even use some boats. So that was the case for yesterday's match. Let's see where the circle heads this time. As Genji Tiamba, of course, split between that Jorgopol. Nothing too special that I see on the map for now.
I do see the Sun Sisters going pretty far west, like west of Gatka because
like
of this.
All the way left.
Yeah, because of this plane path, and they're not going to mess with K7 and Severny, and that's not, in the past, I'm saying this because Sun Sister has dropped Severny in the past, but I think K7 is pretty strong right now. That's the only one that's kind of out of the ordinary, although New Happy and Afrika are kind of hanging out close to each other in their desire to head east, as Afrika likes Milta or Milta Power, and New Happy likes Novo.
Yeah, Afrika, I think they don't want to go for those vehicle fights against OPGG, as OPGG has been controlling that area for a very long time. As Afrika should be going up towards Milta, crossing the bridge.
Yeah, Gyao here has to take a very funky parachute path because Afrika has a better drop onto that particular road. So they got to get over onto the other side of this road and try to hope for vehicles. They do find a Dacia there, so that should be good enough for them to get to where they need to go. Will there be any shenanigans? Anybody who gets a gun early and tries to camp a rotation spot? I don't see anything that looks super viable right now. Both teams are racing pretty quick to their drop spots.
I think both teams should be okay, but the circle did shift towards the left side of Erangel near the Mount Everest, or Gatka, I would say. And OGNensis, because they were never challenged in the city of Pochinki, they're having a easy time picking up all the guns, all the utilities that they need to move out, and they actually move out pretty fast. Right before the half line of the first circle, usually into the Potato Mountains, if they need to. When there's a circle on top of them right now, I think they can wait just a little bit more because Pochinki is still pretty safe.
Yeah, you'll see them find one of the couple compounds that are just to the west of Pochinki usually and just set up shop there. Typically some kind of 2-2 spread, maybe around chopsticks, depending on how deep they want to go, depending on what their read on what they think the circle's going to do is, and what a read on the other teams are going to do. That's all kind of, goes into their preparation and all these things. Another team that we got to give the coaching staff for this team a ton of credit. We talk about Sungjang a lot, but with how consistent OGN has been for the last basically forever. I shouldn't even say last couple years. Ever since PUBG Esports has basically been a thing in Korea, this team has been on the radar as one of the best.
One of the best, but never win a trophy, and I think it might finally be the time. As if they can keep that consistency today, they might be able to get maybe widen some gap between the first place and the second place.
And there you go. There's that KR versus PCL, Korea versus China. Fierce battle for the lead indeed. And like we mentioned, right now the chicken dinners are tied 6-6 because it was 3 Korean wins on day 1 and 1 China win. All 4 China wins on day number 2, and then 3 Korea, 1 China on day number 3. So we keep our eyes on that because these regions have been so tight throughout the years. And then this year, particularly, China has kind of stepped ahead. It's been really close. There have been events where the Korean teams have had more teams in the top 5, but they haven't ever gotten the win.
Yeah, especially in PCS2, where it really started like all the Korean teams. It seemed like from PCS1, it was neck and neck between the two regions. But starting from 2, it was a lot more Chinese dominance in terms of how many teams were in top 6. Did get a sight on Genji, as they will have to look to cross into South George after checking that Tiamba will basically move into that Mount Everest to get all that valuable information first.
You can see there on the bottom as well the kill percentages for each team and the leaders and how much of that damage they're doing. So above 30% for most of them, of course. Just barely above 33% for some of them. A little bit of early fire going on with MCG. Summer seeing if he can connect with an SLR. Doesn't really do so by the ruins. And VLG will move on ahead unscathed for now.
Yeah, MCG actually crossed the river pretty quick from that eastern side away from that North George. And I don't think they want to go up in the mountains, knowing that Tiemba will make this early rotation. But Genji is actually giving them somewhat of a challenge. Aqua 5 and Loki's still not here, so better wait for some time.
Well, for Genji, if you can't contest them in South George, then now you're thinking about trying to contest them somewhere else on this mountain, which is typically the area that Genji loves to go. They can gather so much information up here, and this has been kind of their home for years. And now that Tianba's been able to kind of bounce them out, kind of put the screws to them, I think Genji is looking to maybe turn the tides a little bit and get a little more aggressive themselves.
I think they did get a lot more aggressive, and as soon as Tiamba moved out, they immediately crossed the bridge and got the position and the mountain, and then pretty good houses right on top of it onto the northern side. As MCG is trying to pressure from those ruins, so not bad, but there's that clumped up as the vehicles are actually running into each other from right on top. That's 4 AM and also DGW.
Yeah, and it's going to be Luren playing it better safe than sorry as he backs off. He's feeling the pressure from Genji, no doubt. And the other members of Tianba are kind of split off to the western side, hanging out towards the hospital, so he doesn't have a ton of backup either.
Yes, these triple houses where Genji would love to get that set up first. But they already crossed the bridge. 4 AM got the long split around the northern side. As this circles can shift, still go towards that northern side, as a lot of the teams are still there.
Yeah, actually, it is kind of interesting to watch teams like 4 AM that decide to go north instead of just heading kind of across the northern part of Pachinki instead, and they go all the way across the river, in fact, to the north of that to make their rotation. Now, Pio is still trying to push Tianba back, trying to gain control of this top area that is so valuable for Genji. They love this spot, and there's been a lot of teams that kind of had success messing with them, but now Pio continues to crouch forward, and Luren is at least somewhat aware, or at least his spider senses are tingling here, G-Clef, that maybe something's going on, and he almost exposed himself enough. There are shots coming from the south as well. Pio pops it open, doesn't really connect.
Yeah, they're right there, and of course Pio in the lead. But knowing that there's also a 4 AM, few other teams from that North George, there can always be some damage connection. Of course, it's very far away, but knowing how good these pros are, there can always be a distraction or stealing of points.
And I feel like, I want to say there's some, for whatever reason, every once in a while, I remember this odd kind of stat that just kind of popped into my head. It's actually Japanese teams that I'm often seeing getting these ridiculously long kills in PCS and pro events. Like, for whatever reason, they have a knack for finding insanely long kills. Now, Detonation Gaming White is rotating. Sun Sisters are too far away to even see what's going on top of that mountain. So in this case, that's not going to come into play, but that's something I thought was interesting when I was looking at, like, the data. They would give me, like, the post-event data, and it was, like, longest kill, and it's almost always a Japanese team with, like, a 900-meter kill, and I'm like, what in the world happened here?
It's showing that they have that much time because the rotation is basically stuck all the time. As we did hear from Sun Sister that they will actually actively try to change their rotation today. Excuse me, that was Detonation Gaming. Machado did have an interview yesterday, as they felt that they couldn't really do much in the tournament right now, as they will look to change in the rotation early on.
Yeah, I think they should just come in earlier. Okay, hold the phone. 9 here, throws a grenade, gets a knock on to Silky, but AO is there to get him. Infantry might just send it here. If I know Infantry, they might just take this fight.
They will.
And try to win it, exactly. There's no doubt in my mind that if they feel confident that they can win it, they will. And even if they maybe don't feel confident, they do get the res here as well. So there is no finish onto Silky just yet. Long skirt holding an angle on the side of the house. The res coming through here for OPGG. It is going to be finished, and that's going to be a molly right away. The timing counting down in Long Skirt's head, trying to see if he can catch them right after, and he does. Right after the res. This is so smart by him, but he almost goes down to Dumbo. Dumbo around the corner, trying to hold the line here, and he's going to get a knock on to 9.
Yeah, Dumbo getting a lot of these kills from side. Infantry, they were the ones joining into the fight. They could have just let go of OPGG. But feeling confident, they came into him, getting the first kill. That's OPGG. Still AO to be rest in that house. And Thick Infantry with Lin all the way to the side. I think they just might lose this duel.
Yeah, Lin is a little bit out of position here to really help, and Longskirt's going to be knocked as well. There's just not much he can shoot into, and Alpaca has a good enough angle to cover and keep him pinned down mostly anyway. So for Lin and Infantry, it's not looking so good. It looks like they're all going to go down except for Lin. And at this point, I think it might be time for Lin to peace out and try to get some kind of snake going.
I think that's most likely what he's going to do, as the rest of the squad is pinned down by OPGG with many angles. Unless Afrika Freaks just run them down, I think they will try to find better position in the next circle for now. And just looking to see if they can steal anything away from that fight. And it's code time for the first match today.
Code time. Get that code in there, guys. And make sure you spam it in chat so people who haven't gotten one yet can. There's only a limited number of those. And okay, Lin gets Dangche. Poor Dangche here thought he was going to be able to come across safely. EJ needs to come up and save his teammate. Isn't able to do it. Lin gets the finish, but Lin will go down. Infantry, the first team eliminated today.
Yep, and Lin actually brought one with himself, so yeah, better for OPGG, because I think they had somewhat of a clue that Afrika was on top of them because of the vehicle sounds, but not exactly where. That's too bad for Infantry. I think they were up for a pretty good challenge. They had the high hill control, but because of the OPGG position and the angle spread out, they couldn't really handle all the shots coming in.
Yeah, so here you go. Entis has pushed to the south side of the chopsticks, which is pretty interesting. This is a little bit of a new strat that I've seen from Entis. I've never seen them do kind of this thing where they have one in each house and then one in each chopstick. That's kind of a new little wrinkle in Entis ideas.
Yeah, they usually have two near those chopsticks and two all the way back on the back end of the chopsticks. That's usually the 2-2 split that OGN tries, but I think they heard Pero and also DGW moving in with the vehicle and had to think, okay, we have to focus on one side. We can't just have 2-2 split. Even though we do have a pretty big circle, we can always get pushed by the other squad.
Well, I like the idea. The chopsticks are oftentimes a relatively safe place to retreat to in hard shifting circles. So if you need to, you at least have some of that available. Now, MCG has set up on the other side of those chopsticks, so there's kind of a little mini battle going on for control over those. But overall, I like the idea here. I like the new ideas, but it is Pero who's kind of nestled up close to OGN and Detonation Gaming White as well. So it's going to be a little bit tricky for OGN to make that patented move if this one hard shifts to the west.
That's totally true, but that Pero 2-2 split looks a little bit dangerous. But the circle does go on top of OGN. Entis, the magic happens again and again in PCS 3 as OPGG with the full squad left. They were about to make a very long rotation to the western side, and then circle pops is okay, we can just stay here.
And the good news for Entis is that no one is over to the east of them except for OPGG. OPGG doesn't really have to move. So for now, I don't think anyone's going to try to crash their location, but this is Asia, and there are teams who, if they smell weakness on you, will pounce and try to take advantage of it, and maybe you could get somebody out of one of those chopsticks.
Yes.
That's the only thing I can really think of that might happen.
And this Gaka area will be hot. GEX running into VLG, getting stomped right now with that nade start.
Well, I think we've learned you don't mess with GX and Gatka. I think we've seen this a couple times now.
It's their territory.
It's their home, and they will fight for it, and they will make you pay. Spear, only member alive for Ghibli. And shots raining in from Godby and Four Angry Men. Now, so far, Four Angry Men has just stayed safe, stayed on the edges, just kind of watched other things, waiting for them to see when their moment to get involved. Tianba doing kind of similar kind of things now that they moved off the mountain.
Yep, we see that Tianba very likely taking the western side or western top side of the circle. And Genji knowing that they go all the way opposite to the eastern side, as this will just be a cleanup, and Tianba actually stealing a few kills off of GEX. Actually getting the kill points on them.
Yeah, and Spear, oh wow. He actually got a couple knocks in there. He was stunned and just started spraying and praying, but it is going to be enough reinforcements from GEX, but a couple knocks go in their belts.
Yeah, really good play, dominant play, as we have seen finally some confident play from GEX yesterday, starting from that Miramar and feeling confidence from Gaka. This is our home ground, getting that back into themselves. It's still pretty good. I think they still have 4 members, or even all 4 members with that res now.
Yeah, Yan Lee playing very well yesterday for GEX. Got to give him a shout out and some credit. Looking very good. Now the move is happening for 4 AM. They've been able to see over here, and actually it is pretty wide open because MCG has been moving themselves into that westernmost chopstick. So for 4 AM, this opens up the compound here, and these little hills, they're going to check it out on the outside first. Almost a little, Godby took a little bit of damage there. But
and it's because Crazy is actually still on top of mountain getting all these rotational information. And he's out in the blue, but making sure they go into a safe house first. as the Crazy's on the vehicle now going down the mountain, joining the squad.
Yeah, that's a great pickup there. Seeing Crazy up on that mountain, that's really smart. It's okay usually to hang out in the blue until about phase 3. After that, it gets a little too dicey to stay inside of it.
And the Nonix actually getting close to that 4 a.m. territory, just trying to get some poke and stopping forever, making that big wide eastern rotation.
Yeah, this Anonyx's move here is going to force the rest of 4 a.m. into that Seoul compound across the road and keep them from taking kind of a split to cover that territory. Now the circle is going to shift down to the southwest, so now Gen G and 4 a.m. both have to make moves.
Yeah, I was going to say that hillside on New Happy was going to be the key point, even in the previous circle, now even better, as all these teams has to come across the road from where Pero is, right in the middle. And that's a big road to take where you do have an uphill. It's not steep enough, so you still get straight shot from all the other teams when you're making that cross. So those teams right there, Pero, Entus, DGW, even MCG, they out of there, I imagine only 2 teams.
All right, this is going to be a little tricky here for Gen G. They're going to have to cut right by Afrika. They don't have a choice. They're going to go right at them. Afrika was thinking about making a move, and they actually are going to get in their cars. They do have the side seat available to take some shots. A little bit of damage being done.
Silky's right in front.
Oh, Silky gets out of his UAZ. Is he going to get anything done? He has stopped somebody up. Aqua 5, Dumbo goes down. Silky's very hurt here. And Nonix is going to get Silky, finish him off. It's actually Hansia who gets Dumbo there. So a little bit of a misstep for OPGG.
Silky was there first, but because the car ran over, he couldn't really get that aim for himself. And GEX again runs in.
Ooh, good grenade from Gokuri on the backside. Finds Yan Lee, an early knock. A disappointing one for GEX with how well he's been playing. Leo tries to get inside. A quick double here for C's with the barrel. Finds 2, and it is up to CC now, pinned behind. Fire and a fence comes forward. Gokuri's here to do some damage. Gokuri's got the pizza gun. He's trying to get that DP going. Hasn't finished the job just yet. And Machao does go down for Detonation Gaming White. And meanwhile, Gen G now starting to just duke it out with Afrika. Pio goes down quick.
Pio goes down and Hansia getting that massive kill. Afrika got that easy circle entry, as no one else actually challenging them. Even OPGG getting a piece of Gen G where they had no idea, no clue who was actually where near this hill.
Well, this is, they kicked up the hornet's nest here to Gen G, and there are 3 teams around them, 4AM, OPGG, and Afrika Freaks, who all want a piece of them, and they are quickly torn to shreds. Aqua 5, the only one left alive in this movement. There was room for them to go deeper, but they didn't have the information. MCG out?
They went into the house where DGW was, but there was a car accident, and then immediately from Tiamba and also Entus, there were just shots coming from everywhere. I imagine that's what happened.
Little unfortunate for the start of the day for a couple of our teams, but Gen G, they're going to look at that and be like, why was nobody in the middle of this circle? Sun Sister got a compound for free as they wipe out K7, get ahead of a lot of people inside of this one, and I think they rolled up to this one thinking they'd have to hard push it, but there was actually nobody there, so they get there first and end up setting up a trap for K7, a disappointing start to the day for them as well.
Yep, and 4AM continues to move into a higher spot onto the western side near Sun Sisters. Not really being challenged by anyone. There's the Gao from New Happy, but I don't think he wants to push as the rest of the squad is still quite below him, as if he moves up even further, can't be really covered by the teammates.
Look at this movement from 4AM. So patient, so effective. They get into the center of this circle before it moves because they take advantage of all the other teams on the east side fighting, and they're going to pay dividends because of it, as they are still pretty well centrally located. Now, there are going to be other teams that are going to have to start pushing eventually. I'm really curious about what Entus's plan is right now, your top team in this lobby. It's going to be difficult no matter what for them at this point. I don't think this one's going to keep hard shifting towards them.
They actually did not go out from their initial position because of the information that they were holding around the area, and they had placed their bets that, okay, we don't have to move. A lot of these other teams are going to move towards the hillside. We only know a few teams that can be challenged, and they know it's Pero, they know it's GGW right next to him. So they just got to clean those up, which is not too easy, because there's also Tiamba, who will try to get those long distance kills from the field.
Yeah, and there's good sight lines from where Entis is to the teams that are to the west of them. And of course, they know Pero is underneath them, so they might just wait it out, see if they can catch somebody making a bit of a mistake or an early, maybe a too early rotation or something like that where they could, you know, kind of take advantage of it. New Happy is a very good Erangel team. No points just yet for them, and it is going to be Detonation Gaming White that is going to make an early rotation after successfully defending against GEX. Some shots ringing through. Going through, though, is going to be Detonation Gaming White. Those vehicles are smoking. I don't know if they know 4 AM is here. They're going to stop up close to them, though.
Yeah, right next to him, Scoppy's got a big blood smell right in front of him. He's not actually rushing because he did lose Crazy in the middle of that rotation. And after sensing that DGW is out, Entis, I think they're also looking to push into Pero anytime soon, but the circle's still on them, so no rush yet. STM, but they just have to rush. There's no way. They just have to go through the field into those hills, and they're still good.
Yeah, Mill almost takes down the first member. Another one comes blazing in. Forever gets in the vehicle. Great dodge there from Forever. He's going to get knocked, though, and it is 4 kills right now for them. Pero doing some damage to Tianba as well, and they are wiped out.
That just had to be done. If they went towards the east side, Pero Entis 2 full squad will be raining down fire on them. They had to go to the hillside without having much of an information, and they have to go in because if they go in not too deep, Pero still has an angle. Sun Sisters also got an angle, so that was the only option, I would say.
Yeah, Sungjong up here and Alpaca being very, very patient so he can pick up a double. Great patience here from Alpaca, waiting this one out. Sungjong never saw him, and that's going to be 2 down for Entis.
As they still have 2-2 split. Kale Indigo alive on top of that northern circle. As OPGG still keeping good ground after seeing that push. Afrika actually making a pretty big push towards the eastern side. They want to clean up the east side of the circle first and then move up to the north. And they know it's pretty empty.
For Entis, you might be kicking yourself a bit. You could have waited a bit longer to make that move, as this circle does end up shifting towards them yet again, which is unlikely, to be fair. So they're trying to hedge their bets and do what will be most likely, which is how you should be playing PUBG, of course, as this is a bit of like we've kind of talked about in the past, a bit like playing poker in a way where you have to play odds and statistics oftentimes with how these circles are going to maneuver, and all the good teams will absolutely be doing that. Now, Faka, in the meantime, now has info that Afrika Freaks is over here, and he wants to see if he can maybe get some more points in the bag.
But Afrika, they know that they're around, not exactly yet, as there will be shots from Griffin into Sun Sisters. You have to be trying to get some damage from the side, as Sun Sister with Kendusu knocked. I think Griffin, they want to go full west and go for the push.
Yeah, Griffin is pretty well pinned in between New Happy and the Sun Sisters right now. You can see Ming Ming was getting some shots into their side. It is Asura still here today for Griffin, so Minsung not in just yet. A bunch of damage being done to Two Heart, who has to immediately get crouched and get that first aid going. Asura is trying to be the point man. There's nobody home for that molly and that smoke. Polly is a bit to the left. 2-tap on the backside, gonna succumb to the blue here. It looks like Sun Sisters bearing down on top of him. Two Heart does win his battle with Polly, but Asura goes down, and there is not much left here, as I think New Happy might just roll in and sweep through.
Oh yes, they're about to grab a massive amount of points. Griffin, they do just go out immediately from Sun Sisters, but New Happy's here through the smokes, just spraying through. How in the world can you get that spray with the nades? They're about to get the full squad wipe.
Yeah, they have a pretty good idea of where the Sun Sisters were, and the smokes were running out. Sun Sister down and out, exactly. An easy move for New Happy there, as Zhao K going to be the last one to pick up the final kill on the Sun Sisters, and now they focus their attention to their north, where 4 AM awaits.
There's all the timing on the Afrika. Getting one, that's good enough for a 3-man. Ayo's right in front of him. And 4 AM, it's not even bothering on this side because they know New Happy is going to challenge them from the southern side. And they have only 3 men up.
And they got to worry about Pero, too. To their north, who eventually is going to have to potentially cross that road, depending on what the Phase 7 circle does. So they have kind of a tricky situation. They are at center circle, and there goes Roa finishing off Ayo. OPGG gets a 6th place out of what is not the worst round, and they did out-duel infantry kind of in there as well.
And look at New Happy running their feet off towards Afrika Freaks, knowing that there has to be 4 AM right on top. You don't want to challenge them right now. And a pretty good circle for not bad all the teams. And still Entis, they do not have to cross, but they have to use a lot of smoke because Pero's got a good angle on them.
I mean, with what New Happy has right now, they need to win a fight against a team. And if they can do that, I really feel like this game opens up for them.
Yep, and after pushing towards the east, after understanding that Afrika moved up towards the northern side, making sure they will be attacking into the other team, now New Happy, they're willing to challenge into 4 a.m.
Really good movement here from New Happy. Ming trying to pop some shots through the windows. Ahead, pops up for a second. Isn't able to pull the trigger in time, even though he has that Mark 14, some level 3 gear for Ming, and that is super scary stuff. It's going to be Giao picking up that kill onto Lu from 4am. Godv trying to hold it down with Forever on the backside, but Mill is encroaching on the backside of Forever here, and he's going to finish him down with a grenade, and then he's gone, and quickly 4am falls apart between the combined fire of New Happy and Pero.
Yeah, they were right in the middle, and also check that Pero did cross the road, and good check from New Happy, knowing exactly how much time they have. They know before Freaks actually make a contact with them. Now Freaks approaching New Happy. They know they're a full squad without a single knock, so they do have to be careful at the same time. And within that time, Entus actually made that quick rotation into that eastern side now.
Yeah, so smart with the movement here is Entus, and I like the idea by Afrika to get yourself in a position to third-party this if Pero and New Happy start scuffling, which, knowing the terrain, they kind of have to. The way that this is funneling them into each other. Long DD going to be the first knock, but there is a double coming out here from XDD. Mill's going to finish the job onto Xiaoke. Lycanon is knocked, and XDD does finish the job onto him as well, so Pero makes a push. Is Afrika going to try to pick up the pieces and finish New Happy off?
It depends, because they heard the cycles from Entus, and they know they're right on top, so if they make a sound, they can be directly sandwiched from, not just from Pero and New Happy, also from Entus. So they gotta check the lines, and EJ steps over the line just a little too far. Indigo takes him down immediately.
Yeah, the top fragger for Entus stepping up big here, and now that's going to send New Happy into this. They smell blood, and they're finishing the job. Ming with 3 big kills, 7 total for New Happy, and they look to see if they can push on down into Entus, wipe them out, and then maybe give themselves a second place finish as Pero is trying to hurry up and see if they can pick up whatever points they can off of this.
Pero knows, okay, we got the chicken dinner. Let's grab the maximum kill points before them. Entus and New Happy right now, trying to get that second place. Indigo down, looking for Kale.
Oh, Kale trying to hold the line here, and now Pero has shown up. They want some of this pie. Ming taking a bunch of damage from throwables now, and it's going to be Mill from Pero who's going to get the knock onto him. Kale steps up, tries to see if he can finish the job. Xiaoke holds on, but no, it's going to be Pero. A quick double finishes the job, and they go, if you remember back to yesterday, back to back for Petrichor Road.
What a day for Pero. Easy circles, but it was a rotation that could have been